Hello. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Chiwempala. And good evening, Milenge. Good afternoon, those that are on different time zones. I'm aware that we are being carried on various platforms right now and in different countries. And so, good afternoon to those that are in the afternoon. Good morning to those like in Australia, where it's morning. But most importantly, good evening, Chiwempala. We are going to let you share with as many people as possible. Send the message around. Let people know that TV Bakwetu is on, and me, Elias Munsha, as well as my co-host, Mr. Norman Chipakopako, are coming to you live to discuss a few matters that happened on this International Day of LULU. You shouldn't miss this because it's a great day. So share with as many people as possible. And then we are also going to be joined by a very interesting gentleman. I'm not going to tell you who it is at the moment, but it will be surprise, surprise. It's going to be surprise, surprise, because today has been a day of surprises, complete surprises. And so, without further ado, thank you for sharing and sending the message across. I would like to bring onto the stream right now, Mr. Norman Chipakopako. Thank you for joining me, Elias Munsha here, and off now to Mr. Norman Chipakopako. Mr. Chipakopako, how are you doing today?
And good evening, Chiwempala, and good evening, Zambia, and good evening to all our viewers all over the world. It's a very interesting day today. And how are you doing, Munsha?
I'm shocked. I'm completely surprised and shocked.
Why are you shocked? I thought Why are you shocked?
So we need to begin explaining what
I told you it was somebody from the north, and somebody who was going to be from the north, and somebody who was going to be Bemba Nkonko. I told you. So why are you shocked? I might have missed the name, but its point to me is a shock in the sense that it's Luo Nkandu. Of all the people, it's Nkandu Luo, professor. Okay, because if I don't put that term, some people will be mad with me. Professor Nkandu Luo is the running mate. It's a shocker to me. It's not a shocker. It's not a shocker that is somebody from the north. It's not a shocker. It's not a shocker that it's a lady, but Nkandu Luo really
is a shock.
To me, it's a shock.
But I think in order for us to appreciate the gravity of the shock, let us go back a little bit, because I want us to deal with, a little background to this issue. Okay, so the Patriotic Front had its convention. Is it convention or conference, whatever they call it? And the vice president did not indicate that she was going to retire. There was no indication of retirement, right? She runs for the position of MCC. Of course, she ran first of all. There was confusion there about what position she was running. She runs for the position of MCC. Then she gets reappointed as vice president of the party immediately. And then weeks, days, perhaps even months pass by. And then on the day before the nomination, because this is what our people need to understand, on the day before the nomination, the filing in of the nominations, we receive a very shocking press conference on a Sunday. Yep. What does that tell you? That it was on a Sunday?
To me, the information we have is that the vice president, because she's still vice president, she'll be vice president until the 12th of August, was not informed that she was not going to be the running mate. She was not informed. She was only informed on Saturday. All along, she has been preparing herself to run again as the running mate. That's why she stood as the vice chairperson of PF. And Saturday afternoon, she gets information to say, actually, Vice President, I've got a running mate, and you are not going to be the running mate, resulting.
Now, General, you're giving the impression as if it was on Saturday that they told her that she won't run.
Yes.
I don't think I can give President Lungu even 2 days notice. Was she given 2 days notice? Did President Lungu have a notice to prepare for the nomination?
I think she must have given a 1 day notice, because there's been, since the general conference, there's been a big struggle to find out who's going to. Right. There's the issue of trying to get a running mate. They've had meetings of the chiefs from the north. There's been this Luapula United versus the north. There's been the issue of getting a replacement. Who is going to replace Lungu in case he wins?
Right.
When he retires, who's going to be the next president? They want somebody from the north, and it must be somebody who's Bemba Nkonko.
Right.
They have been jostling for these positions. CK wanted it, and Nkandu wanted it, and Chirufya still wanted it, and all these people have been jostling for this position until Saturday, when this guy had already made up his mind to settle for the Professor Nkandu Luo. So the madam was informed
my analysis is different, General. My analysis is different.
Why am I saying this, Musha? If you listen to what President Lungu said today, when after signing his papers, he was addressed the press and said, I know some of you might not be happy with my choice. You can only have your choice when you become president. Me, I'm happy with my choice. So if some of you are not happy with that, that's your problem. What does that mean?
Right. Okay, here is my thought. Number one, I really do not think that President Lungu had a lot of time to select Professor Nkandu Luo. I don't just foresee a situation where President Lungu sits down with his advisors at State House, consults widely, and settles for Professor Nkandu Luo. I don't see it. I see it as a very hurried decision, which is not well thought through, and then they decide to announce. Everybody was unprepared, beginning from his own party to the ordinary person on the street. Nobody was prepared for Nkandu Luo.
I could agree with you on that one, Munsha, because if you look at the reaction, I know, I studied psychology, but somehow, if you look at the reaction of Davis Mwila, you can tell to say that there's something here which is not right. Look at the way he was introducing the president. Somebody tries to hand over a document to him and he threw it away. He said he didn't want it. Something not right. There's also a rumor that Edith Nawaku was there. Was she preparing to be announced, unveiled, and she didn't know what was happening?
Right.
So there's this confusion, probably to happen last minute. But I think the madam was informed on Saturday, the vice president.
All right. Now, I'm getting some feedback, so I'm wondering whether it is your sound or your camera. I'm going to get you off, and then you're going to come back again. Can we do that?
Yes, please. My camera is fine. My camera is fine. I think there's a feedback. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
All right. Now, so my theory is President Lungu kept everyone guessing. It was not a well thought out decision. This was impulsive. I don't see him consulting Davis Mwila or consulting Samuel Ngonga Mukupa, or consulting Davis Chama, or consulting any of the close PF bigwigs, and they recommend Nkandu Luo. I don't think so. I really do not think so. And I want you as viewers to let me know whether my analysis is out and or whether General is out. What do you think? I really do not see it. That is why this decision is a surprise. In Chimutengo, we used to call it dabwisha. When you are president, you can't be playing dabwisha. It is extremely dangerous. And so because of that, we now have this candidate who resoundingly, the entire nation has completely rejected. The reason why they've rejected, it's because they have a history with this particular nominee, she's no longer a nominee, she's a running mate. They have huge issues with this running mate. Everybody has issues with this running mate. General, what do you think?
I think this dabwisha theory of Chimutengo, I would agree with you, because look at the face of Davis Mwila. If you look, if you analyze that short video, you can tell to say Davis Mwila was not happy at all.
Yeah. And so people that are saying that it's a strategy, and they're asking, are you surprised? Yes, we are surprised, but we are not alone in our surprise, including the Patriotic Front Party itself. I think they are very surprised. They are shocked at this kind of elementary mistake that has gone with this choice of a running mate. Perhaps, General, we are surprised, but we've got to hear from one of the PF supporters. I'm going to bring him on. All right? One of the Patriotic Front supporters. His name is Shomba Kauma. Shomba Kauma, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, Senior Counsel. Good evening, General.
Good evening, Shomba. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm blessed.
You are looking green tonight. Are you very, very green, even in your heart tonight?
I'm too green. My heart is green.
Wow.
Shomba Kauma,
yes,
our analysis, me and General's analysis, is that this appointment of this particular running mate shocked everyone, including the Patriotic Front. Are you shocked?
To say the truth, yes, I am. But not as much shocked, because the decision of who becomes the running mate is entirely up to the president to make. So I can have my own favorite say, I'm thinking this might be, but I don't know what the president is thinking. So in as much as the decision is a shock, I think we just have to respect the president's choice and move on. But anyway, It has come as a shock.
So you were shocked?
Yes, to say the least, I was shocked. But
okay. Were you shocked that you had somebody else you were expecting, or some other people you were expecting? Shomba Kauma,
yes,
please tell us. You are the only, you see, because we've seen you pictures jogging with the president. Yeah. We've seen you supporting your party. And in fact, even on this program, even if we don't allow party regalia, you've shown up with your board.
You're green.
Sure.
We assume that you're really close to the Patriotic Front. You are right at the heart. You are not formally one of the MCCs, but we regard you to be somewhere close. Are we mistaken in that analysis?
No. That's a correct analysis, sure.
Okay. So what shocks you, Shomba? What really shocked you? I'm not talking to you as a brother, as a Zambian, as what shocked you about Professor Luo, my elder sister, Professor Luo?
Okay. Basically, for me, what shocked me is that 3 months ago, last month, Professor Nkandu Luo was on record. She was trying to defend her seat as the MP for Munali. She was saying, no, we are being bullied as women, and
yes.
Yeah, we are being bullied for being female MPs and stuff like that. So for me, I had thought maybe she was going to stick to that position as member of parliament. But when the adoptions came, we saw a different face. We saw the likes of Honorable Given Mubinda giving way, Honorable Kapata giving way. So I thought even on the professor's side, she was giving way. So
All right.
when she was not adopted to recontest, I thought maybe it's one of these changes that are going on in the party. Then today to be hit by the news that she's a running mate, wow, it was a shock. But anyway, we respect the president's decision and we move on with it. We'll work with the professor. Right. Yeah.
What is the reaction from the Luapula United?
I personally come from Luapula. I personally come from Chelenge, and I'm Bemba. So
I come from. Are you Bemba Nkonko? Are you Bemba Nkonko or are you Bemba Nkonko?
Emkwai. Vamunkantani washukuru. Kukawamba vamunkantani washukuru.
All right.
Okay, please tell us. Okay, go ahead. Luapula United. You are from Luapula, yes?
Yeah, so I think as a guy from Luapula, I'm proud. I'm proud at least. The representation is there at most, and she's a good candidate, and we can easily sell her in Luapula.
All right, but is there some misgivings? We want to know the misgivings from the Luapula United crowd. Are they happy with this particular running mate? No. Before you answer, I'm going to answer on your behalf. The answer is no. They are not happy with Nkandu Luo's appointment.
No, Munsha, I am supposed to be the referee here. You are two Luapula United people. I am supposed to be the referee here. So let me be a fair referee.
Yes.
The Luapula United, you guys, you are your Dr. Bonanza lined up until he messed it up. Okay? That's a fact. Okay? Then you had somebody else lining up, but he messed it up. So this lady was picked up. What really shocked me was her prayer at the convention. I've got that prayer at the convention, and I asked myself, why was he asked to pray at that convention? I started getting the dots and dots, but I couldn't meet the dots. I couldn't really get everything connecting. I think that's the reason why she was made to pray at the convention.
But now,
she prayed.
Now, I don't want to go into doctrinal matters, because the reason why Bagatori Kabala Swati Dama Pepo, if you are pente to paper fear by the spirit, Kwamba Fiogu paper, so maybe it has something to do with the memorization, because if you memorize prayers, I don't go alaba one line, it means that everything else is it defects.
So let's go back to the Luapula United.
Yes.
There is this issue of Luapula United versus the real Bemba Nkonko.
They are not real Bemba. No, don't call them real. Call them Bemba proper.
Okay.
They are smaller Bemba than the rest of the Bemba speaking Commonwealth. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So here you are, Luapula United 0. Bemba, Nkonko, Bisa, they've beaten you. My biggest problem is this lady who's now going to be running mate was against Chitimkulu.
Right.
So who has won here? You, the Luapula guys, United, you have lost because your candidate was Chitalu Chilufya. We all know. He messed it up.
Okay, more than that though, why are the Zambians having an issue with Professor Nkandu Luo? It has nothing to do with tribe, in my opinion. It has everything to do with her record. Yeah. That is the major issue.
Let me start with the first record.
Okay.
I was in 1991 fought against MMD as UNEP. I served in the Central Committee. The arrogance of that lady, Professor Nkandu Luo, is just unbelievable. The arrogance of Nkandu Luo, wherever she has gone, every ministry where she has gone, is just unbelievable. The first ministry where she messed up was the Ministry of Health.
Yes, it's
and
true.
We lost a lot of doctors. There were 2 people who made Zambia lose doctors. And Nkandu Luo. Zambian doctors left the country because of these 2 people. Her arrogance is what I can't stand. Secondly, what she said in Northern Province over tribalism, I'll never forgive her for that.
All right.
Me.
Okay. Now, Shomba, what do you think?
On the issue of the record, I think it would be unfair for us to judge the professor. Let me take you back to the Minister of Education, and I saw the opposition leader there, President HH. He posted about the CBU and the UNZA issue.
Yeah.
That one to be honest. If you look at the policies she had created at the Ministry of Education, today even people in colleges are able to access student loans. By then, government has just focused on the 3 institutions of higher learning. But today we have people from Nkuruma, we have people from from Charimbana that are now at least accessing.
Why was she fired? Why was she changed from Minister of Education? It's because she failed.
No, she wasn't fired.
She closed the CBU for a year, over a year. Was that a year? Close and learning.
The key word is the president has got the powers vested in him by the constitution to reshuffle his cabinet. If you say that the president fired her because she failed, I don't think she would have come back as vice president. I don't think she would have come back.
This is why we're saying that there is no reason, there is no rational, logical reason why Nkandu Luo should be the running mate. Because she failed, first of all, for her seat in Munali, 1. Secondly, she failed at the Ministry of Higher Education, resulting into her being transferred. Thirdly, she failed as a Minister of Traditional Affairs when she put an embargo on Kanyantamanga II. I do understand that Kanyantamanga II is fuming, can't believe how Professor Luo could be the running mate.
If you say she failed,
angry.
If you say she failed, just on that one, if you say she failed as MP for Munali, have you looked at the difference that was there between the UPND candidate who was second and Professor Nkandu Luo? That should tell you that
that's something else. That's something else. All the structures in Munali rejected Nkandu Luo. In fact, that is the whole reason why she was not adopted in Munali. It's because they knew that she was not going to win in Munali. Professor Nkandu Luo is so unpopular in Munali. This makes it a very curious decision. How did the president then decide to appoint this failing woman as the running mate?
Before you proceed, Shomba, before you proceed.
Yes, General.
I'm in higher education in the UK.
Thank you.
And I know what student loans are all about.
Yeah.
The government of Zambia's student loan is not sustainable. First of all, tell me what percentage of recovery on those student loans. So don't give that excuse of student loans, because that's not sustainable. It's just like your fertilizer program, which is not sustainable. Less than 20% of those loans have been recovered. Yeah. So put that aside, my brother. Let's talk about something else. Luo was a failure at the Ministry of Higher Education, okay? No, just like Brian Mushimba was a failure, Luo was worse than Brian.
Yeah, I wanted to take you back to what you said. Yeah, you said back then when she was at the Ministry of Health, she was arrogant. I wanted to find out arrogant in which way, because I'm one of the people that spent time with her when she was at education, and she took time to explain to me how she ran the Ministry of Health. I can rest assure you, it was one of the best.
Chomba Kauma, How old were you when Nkandu Luo was Minister of Health?
I don't know, but what I'm saying
Right.
is,
the Ministry of Health
Musha, let's ask this young man. I'm not underrating your age. I'm not underrating your age, Shomba. Do you know how many Zambian doctors and nurses left Zambia because of Michael Sata and Professor Nkandu Luo? Do you know the numbers? Do you know the statistics? Do you know the numbers?
I stand to be corrected by you.
Yeah, so the truth is that a lot of doctors and nurses left for South Africa, left for Botswana, and most of them ended up being in the UK and Canada and America because of Nkandu Luo and my late brother.
Now, Nkandu Luo went to Chilubi to campaign, General and Chomba Kaoma, in Chilubi. She said to the people of Chilubi that if mule pianiko muntu, Nkandu Luo said, it's there on YouTube, atine nemubisa, ebankandu Luo wako atine nemubisa, te pari position, yabubisa, tuasalete la pomutonga. That is what Professor Nkandu Luo said. That was tribalist. The reason why it was tribalist is because the person who was standing in Chilubi was not Tonga. Ali Mubemba, Umwina Chilubi.
Yeah, I think on
now, what did Professor mean? What did your running mate, what did President Edgar Lungu's running mate mean when she said that vacancy di Chilubi is not a vacancy for Tongas?
I think Makaramba, I can only respond to that when I watch that video. But
Chomba, no, we are discussing here as brothers and sisters.
The issue I'm
not Tonga.
Yeah.
But that was one of the most disgraceful thing a professor can say.
You know, the issue of tribalism is one of the things.
You see, you shouldn't say that a professor can do, General, because a professor can, if a professor wants to be tribalist, it's okay. But this lady is a running mate.
Exactly.
Told the people of Chilubi that ngamlekianiko muntu ku Chilubi tetmu abika pomtonga. Chomba Kaoma, you're from Luapula.
Can I?
Right through the woman. We are matrilineal.
Before I forget,
and we have got Tongas as chiefs, Lolela. We have got Lekefio. We've got Tongas as chiefs. Tonga in Mansa, right in Mansa. What did Professor Luo mean when she told Abena Chilubi? But when there is a vacancy in Chilubi, there's to be a Pomtonga. And today, you are telling us that she's the running mate.
Yeah, so I think, let me give this example. Now, Papa, just allow me a few seconds, just 10 seconds to explain this. You remember during the days of Honorable Kambwili, when he was the Minister of Information and Broadcasting, during one Sunday interview, he said that the people of Southern Province, even if you brought Jesus Christ himself, they can't vote for him. They would rather vote for their own. But just a couple of months ago, Honorable Dr. Chimbakambwidi was being considered as a running mate for the president of the opposition. It just failed.
Never.
General, no, relax, General, please.
It just failed.
Yes.
And when it failed, Honorable Kambwidi came and told us to say, "Ine ofona akiene kutwara party andi at twimini nepa UPND shani alliance." Now, those tribal remarks that were attributed to Dr. Kambwidi then were not brought on the table when those negotiations for vice president were brought in. I think let us look at the positive sides of these leaders than us bringing the past things that they might have said maybe during campaigns. Bashma people, campaign
Okay.
But me, I'm supposed to
right.
be at the center side of the general.
Okay.
Musha,
So are you agreeing that what Nkandu Luo said, the running mate said in Chilubi is tribalist?
First, tribalism must be condoned by any well-meaning Zambian. If she said that, then that was wrong. I'm saying this because I've not seen the...
In fact, Sunday Chirufya Chanda issued a statement condemning what Nkandu Luo had said. What has changed between Chilubi and Munali to become a running mate today? That is what we want to find out, General.
But what you need to understand, General, is that Honorable Professor Nkandu Luo is human just like me and you, and she can err sometimes. So if she did that, I think that doesn't represent the views of the party. The Patriotic Front Party doesn't stand on tribalism. That doesn't represent the views of the party. It might have represented her personal opinion, of which I regret, and I don't think she meant that.
Musha.
All right.
Musha,
yes.
You said, Shomba, you're from Kawambwa. Am I right?
Yes.
My brother was buried in Chibwe village in Kawambwa. Yeah, and for me to hear somebody calling any tribe, I'm not Tonga, but I'm related to the Tongas because I'm a Bantu Botatwe. How does that make me feel? To have a vice president to be calling other tribes that my brother was buried in Kawambwa.
All right.
It simply means, in fact, I would not call Nkandu Luo honorable. No, I would not. She's not honorable. She can be a professor. She's not honorable. An honorable person would not produce the words she produced.
General.
All right.
I'm deeply sorry. I'm deeply sorry over those highly provocative words. It's like what I said earlier today about the burning of those UPND billboards that I saw in the morning. I think if we at least we are privileged to have the man of God in our midst. We need to preach peace. I think it is our responsibility to remind them to say,
that is nonsense. No. I'm a preacher and I need to tell you that's nonsense.
Yeah.
No. Sometimes mufiro kumfwa. You see, this idea that preachers somehow have sworn to protect the constitution of Zambia is nonsense. Preachers are supposed to be preaching the word of God. The constitution of the Republic of Zambia is supposed to be held by the executive and the leaders in our country. President Lungu cannot abdicate the responsibility for peace and outsource it to preachers. No. President Lungu has sworn, used the Bible to swear to protect the constitution of our country. Vambi, Balandati Constitution. To protect the constitution of our country. He has that sole responsibility. He cannot outsource that responsibility to other preachers. Religion itself is not a source of peace.
Yeah.
Because churches differ, religions differ. They're never... Actually, it is the constitution that directs how religions and people under that religion are supposed to respect the constitution and the liberties. This idea that preachers are the ones that are going to be preaching peace, no. It is President Lungu who should be preaching peace. And if the president is not preaching peace, then we have a problem. If the running mate is not barani baya kuchirubi elo baya mando ko bati tupiani ko mutonga. She has responsibility. She needs to come out first of all to renounce those words.
Yeah.
And secondly, she should not have been picked.
Yeah. Shomba, do you really believe with the actions and the words of Professor Nkandu Luo and all these other people, I will name a chain of them, we have said all these horrible things. Do you really believe Zambia is a Christian country? Do you really believe that Zambia is still a one Zambia, one nation?
We shouldn't go there.
Do you know? I'm
Christian nation happen.
Let us not reduce the country to the sins of its citizens. We have people in Muslim nations who go against the Quran and they go against the preachings of the great Allah. So we can't reduce Saudi Arabia to a few sinners and say this is not a Muslim nation. Obviously, there's a Bemba tribe which, a Bemba proverb which said, "At pansa katapabula chipuba." So we can't reduce the country to a few people that are maybe preaching tribalism, that are preaching violence, and then we come and say we are not a Christian nation because we have diverted from our Christian values. I think it is our core duty also to preach peace and love. We should not jump on the bandwagon of those that are going against what we stand for as a nation. I think the role to play is in us and in all the leaders. I like what the opposition leader today said. He said, let us not fight. And let us not, when we find people burning our banners, let's not beat them. I think that is what we want to see more from these leaders. Last week, President Lungu said, have you ever seen me and HH involved in a physical fight? Then why do you want to fight on my behalf? I think if this spirit that we've seen continues, I can rest assure you that we are yet to have a peaceful election, because the call to preach peace and this cancer called tribalism should be stopped by us. I'm telling you, tribalism is a cancer because it makes other people wise.
You see, we are tired, Mr. Shomba. We are tired of just talking about peace. The promise of One Zambia, One Nation is not just because Muleranda it's One Zambia, One Nation. It's actually in what you do. President Lungu, given an opportunity to choose a running mate, guess who he chooses? He chooses a person. Why? Chilubi, and told the people of Chilubi that's the Chimutengo Mutonga. Given a choice. So all this rhetoric here, there is somehow an abstract idea about a united country is out. We want to see it in practice by
action.
Yeah, bakuletera ba intelligence atu umuntu mlesala umfene fwarelanda ku Chilubi. Okay, so as far as we are concerned, the choice now, President Lungu was already had failed completely the people of Zambia. They are not electing him now. His appointment of Professor Luo as a running mate has just added some salt to his confusion. Avena Zambia akana.
When you say President Luo has failed, I would love to know in which areas we have failed, and the people of Zambia that have said they won't vote for him, because as far as I'm concerned, the president is actually headed for another outright victory.
Okay. Let me begin explaining. Number one.
Oh, yes. And I'll put down.
Number one, Kwacha.
Okay.
Number two, imiti mufipatala tamudi.
On the issue of the Kwacha Mamusha, can I respond?
3, Omutengo wabunga skyrocketed.
Akabunga.
Number 4, farmers, Zambian farmers, awakweta amataba, they can't sell amataba. That's what Panji Kaunda was saying yesterday. They can't sell amataba in Malawi. They can't sell amataba in Kuriba Burushe Zuwagasai. They can't sell. When our people asenda fyotubungo to no to cross at which they cross over River, they are relatives across the river. You know what is happening? ZMS is shooting at very poor, simple citizens. Ukutwala fyamataba in Katanga. Ukutwala relatives in Malawi. That's
do you know what drops the price of meat meal? Do you know what the price of meat meal? Is the reason why ZNS has.
I think you can take over because I had issues with my sound. So in Congole and everything, all these are failures.
Musha, can I say something?
Right.
Shomba, Dr. Kaunda was in power for 27 years.
Sure.
Do you know how much we borrowed in those 27 years?
No.
Despite the liberation wars around us, do you know how much we borrowed?
No.
7.5 billion.
What was our inflation and what was the population at that time? What was
the population? The population grew. The population grew from 1964. The major boost growth was in the 80s. Okay, in the 1990s, that's when we started having problems. Okay, between 1964 up to 1980, things were looking stable. Okay, yeah. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that we borrowed 7 billion in 27 years. Chiluba inherited 7 billion. And right. if you look at the economy that time, in 1991, 1990, because things started going haywire in 1989. Now, right. Do you know how much your government has borrowed in 10 years? Because I fought for 7 years in this country to have Zambia's right. debt cancelled. It was cancelled right. in 2007. Do you know right. how much your government has borrowed in 10 years? Where is that money? Where is that money gone?
Right. General, can I respond to that? Can I respond to that?
Respond to that, and then we are going to move on to the next topic. Yes, Mr. Chomba.
When the PF took over, I want you to be giving me answers. I'll be giving you questions. When the PF took over from...
No. We can't do that. We'll bring you right. back on a later day so that you can have enough time. So just respond to... Yeah.
When the PF took over from the MMD, I think we embarked on a vast infrastructural development agenda, which has seen the transformation of this country into a linked one. Let me finish. At the moment, we can boast of having more than 650 health posts across the country. Today, we have 3 university teaching hospitals from one which we had. And at the moment, we have one of the best health facilities in the name of Maina Soko, and we have the Levi Mwanawasa General Hospital. We have one of the most expensive roads, the Mongu Kalabo Road, plus the Link Zambia 8000, which has come to now to phase 3. So this infrastructural journey that we embarked on, I think it is where most of the monies were channeled to. And I can tell you that the infrastructural projects that the PF have done, they are something that are visible, General. This is something that is visible. Okay. General.
All right, now, General.
You talked about Milimil.
No. We've heard. I think Chobakama will bring you back, but we just want to give the audience an opportunity to ask some questions. We want them to ask you, Chobakama, just one, okay? 1 or 2. Any person with a question for Chomba so that we can let him go and we'll bring him back on a better day. On a better day. Okay? So any question for Chomba? I don't think we have. Our resident pharmacist, do you have a question for Mr. Chomba?
Hey, Jerome.
Yeah. Mr. Chomba, how are you?
Hi, brother Jerome. Long time. How have you been?
It looks like you two people know each other.
Yeah, we are connected in the NB issue.
Yeah. No, it's not NB tonight. Tonight it's about the vice president, not NB. NB is we are going to have a topic on NB. Tonight it's the vice president, the unbelievable running mate, which is a shocker. So the question is, Jeremy, what do you think about your running mate tonight? The PF running mate?
It's a big miss, actually, the PF running mate, because under the Minister of Higher Education, she terribly failed. Even simple and straightforward things, she terribly failed, where she was not even consistent in producing also the policies that can help the country move to a better place but she was today she bring this policy, tomorrow she changes, the other day she goes to bring another policy where it was like a trial and error. For example, they scrapped off the meal allowances for students, but those who were there from 2006, if I'm not mistaken, up to today, they are paying back the loans that they got from the government. So why do you scrap off the meal allowance? Well, there are other people who are paying back the money that they got from the sponsorship that the government gave them. It is not like adding up, you see. So for me, she failed.
No, I think
Hello?
let's give Jeremy to finish first, Chomba,
Yeah.
before you respond. To start with, Chomba, you are not an education specialist. I think if you want to talk about honeybee, you better talk about honeybee. You are not an educational specialist. I am an education specialist. So let me tell you, Chomba, and the Zambian people, Professor Luo was a disaster at the Ministry of Higher Education. Disaster. And I know what I'm talking about. So go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah. Then again, when you check very well, we had a lot of closures the time she was at the Ministry of Higher Education due to failure to set up.
I think we've. Yeah, I think we've lost Jeremy. I think the message is clear, Mr. Chomba. Any concluding remarks before we retire you in
You know, the concluding remarks that I have are different from what we've discussed, but I just want us to look at one aspect, which we haven't explored as Zambia. So we've got vast, abundant land and waters. Why don't we go back to industrialization? You know, ama eggs. Yare pepekana no mtengo wa nkoko. And yet we have got farmers here. You know, government had put in a policy where they said we want to ban the importation of onions. Onion yukusashota Zambia. Is the government failing or it is us the farmers? Onion yukusavulira. Onion imo ukuraisha 10 kuacha pa market. So I think
who is to blame? It's government policy, Mr. Chomba Kauma. There is a link between, you see, agriculture tekuya fe mkulima. You see, agriculture tekutila fiati mwaya mkulima and it ends there.
Chomba, I've got your policies here. And this policy is on cooperatives. I helped draft this policy because you inherited it from PF. You have failed to implement your own policies. I was chairman of agriculture in UNIP. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to policies on agriculture. Your government has failed on agriculture.
And so the only...
That's why you can end up importing onions.
So the only...
Go ahead, Musha. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so it's very clear, Chomba Kaumokwabati. You see, tekuya fe mkulima. Ukulima teku bomfya fiolu kasu nembuto na fertilizer na ukwata na land. It goes with policy. Apo pena apo epo fialu bani na somewhere with the Patriotic Front. So Chomba Kauma, you need to consider ditching the Patriotic Front.
No. Before he ditches Patriotic Front.
I'm green.
Chomba, before you ditch Patriotic Front, you've got access to the president. I would like you to go and tell him to say action speaks louder than words.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Right.
One Zambia, one nation doesn't mean singing about it. His action speaks louder than words.
Thank you.
This morning, I woke up with a report that our billboards, UPND billboards, have been burnt.
And
if I was in the army, if I was the president of the president of Zambia now, I would have had those people arrested by this morning. But President Lungu will turn a blind eye and pretend as if nothing has happened.
So we can't have a discussion unless Mwaleta Mobu Soldier.
No. You cannot have on the first week of campaign, people banning things around like that. How? You cannot have that.
So now how do soldiers come in?
No, the police should have arrested those people by this morning.
There's one policy which I would love. Vamusha, I hope my advice goes to the right person. I want to say this. The new manifesto which the Patriotic Front has launched, it says we are going to run a 24-hour driven economy. Now, that 24-hour driven economy, there's one policy which I disagree. There's one policy which I disagree.
Bring you back. Chomba Kaoma, you are a very good guy. We'll bring you back.
You can't have medicine in the hospital. You're talking of a 24-hour economy. You are joking. You have no medicine in the hospital. You can't mend potholes. And you're importing onion. And then you're talking of a 24-hour economy. You are joking. That's a joke.
We don't have potholes in Osaka.
Right. Okay. So thank you. We're going to bring you back, Chomba Kaoma. Thank you so much for joining us and for your insights into the shock you received today.
Thank you so much, General. I'm humbled.
Right. That was Chomba Kaoma. He came to help give us some perspective, and he agrees with us that there is shock. Andrew Butcher, what do you think?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm a bit disappointed. General, how are you?
Good evening, Andrew. How are you?
Hello. I'm very disappointed. Where did you find that very dull chap you brought on the program today?
No, Butcher. Andrew, we want to hear your view about the running mate first. What is your view? What is your take?
The running mate is a good discussion. We can discuss that one, but that boy is very dull.
Munsha, over to you.
We are winning the election. Don't worry about the running mate. These guys have messed up. How would you go and bring that woman who's finished? Government tureyakwiza varungu vatoko tureya chalo chokoteya chakwave varingo kwasikafe. That's one question. Where this country is going?
Right. Over to you, Munsha. Munsha.
Our resident. No. There is consensus here that the choice of this running mate is a very bad choice. Everybody agrees. Even Chomba Kaoma started off by saying that they are all shocked. The thing, because the evidence is there. Nkandu Luo is not like somebody who you are not sure about. She has a long history in government. She has a long history in ministries. We have her on tape saying tribal things. She embargoed the Chitimukulu of the Bemba people and said no. With all this history, how did the president choose Nkandu Luo as the running mate? That is where the thing is. Our resident pharmacist.
Yeah, it's very much
what do you think?
Surprising. It's very much surprising. Are you getting me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very much surprising how the president had to reach on Nkandu with just immediate past record. It's still injuring most of the people, including myself, because of poor policy that she brought at the Minister of Higher Education. You see, we had a lot of instability in terms of closures from the universities due to Nkandu Luo failure to negotiate with the lecturers and the other university unions in terms of condition of services and the other things. Then again, we had issues with her failure to negotiate with the students in a proper way. And she was the first, again, minister to ban unions in the universities because she didn't want someone to challenge her in her thinking. For her, what she thinks is the right way to do without her allowing other people to criticize, that's the third party. Moreover, just for the sake of a joke, when she went to Minister of Fisheries, even my fish died. So
No, was she minister when Mafishi died?
yeah, she
No,
was.
I
She
don't think
just
she.
went there. She just went there when the Mafishi died. So even the animals may be there. They also.
That's serious. Thank you, Jerome. Frank Saliki.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Frank.
Now,
How are
you
you?
calling by a different name or what's going on? Are you Frank?
I am Frank.
Okay, please.
Go ahead.
Tell us.
Go ahead, Frank.
We have a running.
I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's in everything that we do in life when we choose people. If you're choosing your friends to do anything, it shows what sort of person you are in accordance to the people that you pick. And the person that President Lungu has picked, it just shows the sort of government they are, the sort of group they have around them. What we talk to is, for me, it's absolutely criminal what she did to the young people in our country. She took away their education for a number of years. It stopped some young people from graduating. And what sort of message does it send to the country then? What sort of message does it send to the young people? Because she didn't do a great job. It was an awful job for young people. I've got a friend of mine who went to CBU. His parents were struggling to get into school. And in the end, he ended up not finishing because of all the interruption that they faced. So if somebody...
So you agree with us, this is a bad choice.
It's a terrible choice. It's a terrible, terrible choice.
Right. So are there people out there you think are likely to vote for the Nkandu Luo ticket?
Well, in a sensible way, you'd think, don't do it. But as I was watching this evening with my heart just sinking, there are people who are staunch PF. There are people who don't see that they need to be changed.
They were also quite surprised. Thank you, Frank. As always, we appreciate your input.
It's an absolute pleasure. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Herbert Belika. And now, of course, thank you for joining us. We always say you spread the word, you like our page, you invite others, and then you send stars as well to TV Bakwetu, because TV Bakwetu needs to survive. And it survives through your stars, so please do that. Herbert Belika.
Yes, Uncle Musha, how are you?
I'm very well. What do you think? Are you likely to vote for the Nkandu Luo ticket because of Luo?
Certainly not. It's a very bad choice.
All right. What makes it bad? Who were you expecting?
It's a very bad choice. Just like yesterday, you had who you thought were going to be chosen as running mates. General also had his choice. I gave my opinions, but we all missed it. And this morning, everyone just woke up to the shock of their lives to see that Nkandu Luo is now the running mate. And I was like, okay, this is a checkmate for the PF to UPND. The UPND, it's actually a checkmate to PF, because when you look at the legacy that she has left behind, there is really nothing to admire, and there is really nothing to talk about. Everything that has to be spoken about are bad things. Closures of school, being arrogant, not being considerate, and all that. And this just points out to say the leaders that the president is embracing are not correct leaders. They are dictatorial. So when you look at the character of the leaders that are surrounding the presidency, I really don't know who the advisors to the presidency is. So the choice for this running mate, it's actually a flop. And we just really need to go to the ground and just campaign massively. And UPND should form government come 12th August this year. Thank you.
Right. And so, Herbert, and this is one of the things we don't believe. I personally do not believe that President Lungu took time to deliberate on this choice. I think he just acted impulsively and chose Professor Nkandu Luo. He did not vet her. He did not find out her past. He does not care. And even from the statement, because you could see that even the Patriotic Front leaders themselves, they were shocked, completely shocked at this choice. And so we are going to be looking at the fallout from the Luapula United, from Chief Chitimukulu, from people from the Zambezi provinces, and all this. This is a huge disaster. If there is any party that is likely to lose in this election, it's the Patriotic Front. And their choice of this bad running mate is one of the reasons why the people would not give them a chance. General.
Well, it's shocking. It's really shocking for me to hear that when I observed the president introducing his running mate and saying what he said, looking at Davis Mwila and his body language just told me that there was something amiss there. And I'm wondering what is happening to Edith Nawaku tonight.
Yeah, because apparently, you see, that's why I don't believe that President Lungu made this choice days or even weeks. This was a last-minute thing, because according to him, he says that he meditated and prayed about it and came up with Nkandu Luo. He did not say that he prayed, meditated, and then consulted widely. No. This is where the danger is. And so he then brings all of them that were likely to be there, and then dies. Who knows? Wrote it, the coin. Black. When it fell on Nkandu Luo, and he went for that choice. Otherwise, there is no logical explanation for that particular candidate.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And she's not only, the PF is a disaster economically, but this is going to seal it. The running mate of having Nkandu Luo, Professor Nkandu Luo as running mate is a wrong choice, complete wrong choice.
Right.
Because to me, she is arrogant. I've known Nkandu Luo for many years. In fact, Nkandu Luo's young sister is one of my best friends, Mebo Mwomba. You know, I've known that family and I've known her for a long time. But that arrogance, and what really put me off was that those tribal remarks in the north. It just made my mouth and my heart run, because you know, if she becomes president, if in case God forbid Lungu wins tomorrow in August and Nkandu Luo, and then he collapses and something happens to Lungu, Nkandu Luo becomes president, what type of a president would she make?
Terrible. A tribalist president.
A tribalist president. Simple.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just running through the comments. Mario Gibesa, they were very naughty. I wonder what he's talking about there. No, do as I say this year. This issue of bringing people should be restricted. We want to hear views from you and General. They don't want to hear from Chomba Kaoma. Please bring back Mr. Chomba Kaoma next time. We'll definitely bring him back. Aka Red Naka Black Ruth. That's what it is, because that's what the president himself said. That he just prayed and meditated. So what does it mean? No consultation. He did not consult anyone. And meditated and went for Nkandu Luo. That's why I'm calling it Team Lulu. This is Team Lulu, a very pathetic thing. Okay, now, General, we cannot forget what is happening on Wednesday. And so tell us, General, who do you think... My choice was Davis Chama, Charity Lumpa, Bwalyangandu, according to Chitimukulu's choice, and Nevas Mumba. It did not go that way. We got a little bit surprised. On the UPND, Mtalina Lumango What do you think?
I can say that Wednesday will be a very interesting day. And I think the Zambians will be very, today Zambians are very, very annoyed. On Wednesday, you'll be celebrating. That is what I can assure you.
We'll be celebrating.
I can assure you, we are preparing for the filing of the president. And on Wednesday, Zambians, be prepared to be happy. You will be happy on Wednesday.
Right.
But before we go,
with the choice,
before we go, Munsha, we forgot to comment about what happened to Tayali and the bombshell which Tayali had a few days ago. Did you follow the comment?
Right.
On Movie TV?
No. What I generally don't follow Mr. Chilufya Tayali.
I don't follow
so
Tayali.
I don't know what did he say.
But what he said on Movie TV was this president is a dictator. He said this president is so scared. He's I'm trying to find his right words. That he's so scared of. He doesn't know why he's scared, but he's the dictator. So what this young man said was that he has carried out operations on behalf of the government, which the government knows. He has traveled at night to do things, according to him, things for the government. Now, when he said that, I asked myself, was Tayali behind the gassing? Was Tayali behind all these other things which have been happening? The things, what are these things which Tayali was doing on behalf of State House?
Maybe we can bring him here and find out from him, but who?
I think we should.
Why we have this TV Bakwetu is to really talk. Of course, we express our opinion, but we also want to hear from the horse's mouth. That's very important for us. Maybe we can bring him if he says yes. I know that the IBA is cautioning media houses from bringing Mr. Chilufya Tayali. I think IBA is trying to classify Mr. Chilufya Tayali in the same way as Mr. Muryokela, which I really don't see as justifiable. But we are outside the IBA regulation, so we can bring whoever we want. I think we can.
I think we should bring Tayali. He should come and tell us what he meant by the things which he did on behalf of PF. For me, I would like to ask him.
Yeah, I wouldn't take much thought about it. There is nothing new that he said other than what we know already. We've known that the Kalomo thing is a scandal. It's just a made-up thing. We know that the Kalomo farm, it's a made-up thing. We know that the abduction is a made-up thing. We know that the government was involved and or complicit in the murder of people at Nsama and Kaunda. We know all that. So as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing new that Mr. Chilufya Tayali can ever say, because we already know these things. And so we caution the people that Mr. Chilufya Tayali is a dangerous character. We've said it. In fact, we don't even give him the acknowledgement of even mentioning him. I don't think it's
for me. I would like to ask him, what things did he do on behalf of PF?
It's nothing. He did nothing.
Because Zambians have not had answers on gassing.
Yeah,
we need answers.
Okay, maybe that could include gassing. I'm not sure, and so I'm not. How can we rely on the testimony of a gentleman who has told us very, very clearly that he's Nshima Tweka? How do we
for me
take that? I know there are some people who want to take him seriously, but they can. If you are taking him seriously, General, go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, no.
For me, I think he has got a psychological problem, but I want to see. I want to see how far he goes.
Yeah. Anyway, On the continuing arrest of people, again, the Zambia police does not have the authority to detain people for over 48 hours on the pretext that they are trying to investigate a defamation of character. That is not good. We disagree with that, and we are asking the Zambian government to do the right thing and release Mr. Mubitanawa and release several other political detainees.
I find the detention of Mubitanawa very, very annoying, because as I said last week, Munsha, I know the young man very well. He cannot insult. He never insulted. I reviewed that video, and he did not insult. Yeah. It was somebody else who insulted. And what made Mubita even behave well is that immediately he apologized and said, "This is not acceptable. We cannot accept this." And it's illegal to detain somebody for more than 48 hours. So I am personally calling upon the government to release Mubita, and if they want to charge him, let them charge him. Let him appear in court. Why are they detaining him?
That's true. All right, there is a question here. Festus Humphrey Monde, Munsha is really a lawyer. Is this a question or a comment?
Munsha, is he really a lawyer? Oh yes, Munsha is a lawyer practicing in Canada. If you don't know, I'm the only one. I'm not a lawyer, but Munsha is a lawyer. Okay, so those of you who are doubting, he is a lawyer. He became a lawyer at the age of what age, Munsha? He's a real lawyer.
Why should age be relevant?
No, because
why should age be relevant?
They always say Uli Mukote, so I wanted to tell them to say you are not a Mukote, actually you are a young man.
All right, thank you very much. On that note, we are coming to an end of our program. I will see you sometime. Thank you very much for joining us on TV Bakwetu. We will see the shock that is going to come on Wednesday, and we will be back then. Isn't it, General?
Yes, we're definitely coming back on Wednesday. Wednesday, are we coming back earlier on that day, or making it 21 hours to Impala time, or do we go for 20 hours?
The thing is, we do these, during my lunch break here. So I do away with the lunch break so that I can do this. So it's difficult to change the times. So I'm sorry, General, it has to be 21:30.
Let's go for 21:30 then.
Okay.
By then we'll have known who the running mate of UPND is going to be. And by then you will have celebrated. I know.
General is over-promising. General, tekulaya sana if into what you'll be celebrating. Pantu kutu aba disappointed. Pantu abantu balalaya. No, I'm going to do this. I'll shock you. I'll surprise you. I'll make you happy. When the time comes.
What I'm saying to Zambians, you will not get a shocker you got to Zambians, I promise you, you will not get a shocker you got this morning. No, that one I can assure you.
All right. Thank you, General. We'll see you.
Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you very much for joining us here at TV Bakwetu. This has been Elias Munsha with General Chipakupaku, Mr. Norman Chipakupaku from Scotland. And we had a guest today, Mr. Shomba Kaoma, who appeared to explain to us a little bit of what is going on in the PF camp regarding this new running mate. Again, our opinion is very clear. This is a very bad decision. This lady has failed miserably in every ministry that she has gone to. She's a tribalist. It's a bad choice. And so we are foreseeing that with the resistance in the Patriotic Front itself, there's going to be huge disaster come August. On Wednesday, we'll come back once the UPND makes its choice of a running mate. Elias Munsha here on TV Bakwetu. Thank you very much for joining us. Please send us some stars. Don't just like. Don't just comment. Send us stars as well, because TV Bakwetu needs those stars. So thank you very much and good night. Good night. And God